Yo, what up, everybody? Let me exit this. So I'm in the middle of a run. I'm going to continue the run. I don't think it was a very good run, to be honest. Hey, what should I do? What's going on? What's up with my... Okay, let's look at the map. Where are we? What to do? Guess I'll rest. Shoot, it's not gonna hurt anything. See, I'm gonna play a thing. An audiobook. Why not?
Shreds and sweat. Sen was tied to a tree, his shirt ripped to shreds and sweat dripping down his forehead. "Let me go," he pleaded. "This isn't funny anymore." A chorus of cruel laughter cried out in response. He looked down at the crowd surrounding him, the ones responsible for his current humiliation. The Bullseyes, one of the fiercest gangs in God's sanctuary, were all beside themselves laughing at his misfortune. "Come on, boys!" A brutish man with a handlebar moustache cheered. "Let's get some target practice in." With that, he picked up a stone and chucked it at Sen. All Sen could do was close his eyes as it struck him between the legs. "Ow! Bloody hell!" Sen gasped, the shock of pain knocking the breath from his lungs. "It's a small target," laughed the moustached brute. "But I got it. Bullseye!" Sen's face turned red with shame. He had been warned about the dangerous creatures in God's sanctuary, but no one warned him that the most dangerous creatures here were the other people. Ever since he had come to this strange dimension, he had been met with nothing but pain, failure, and humiliation. And now, the Bullseyes were sure to kill him. Other gang members began pelting him with everything from wild berries and stones to animal dung. But just as the laughter grew to a crescendo, it suddenly fell to complete silence. The gang all moved aside as their revered leader, Sarah Arryn, raised her fist. Like a well-oiled machine, the Bullseyes moved out, disappearing into the thick jungle brush. Within seconds, they'd blended with the foliage, and only Sarah remained in front of Sen. "Sarah, please." Sen struggled against the ropes, his voice raw with desperation. "I'm sorry, okay? Please, just let me go." "Oh, we can't let you go, I'm afraid," she sneered, her eyes cold and calculating. "We need you, leopard." "The lava leopard?" "You certainly are the deadliest creatures in all of God's sanctuary, but also one of the most valuable." She stood so cool's chest, lifted her hand. Suddenly, a dagger materialized within her grip, its sharp hilt gleaming in the sunlight. She pressed the blade against Sen's chest. "The smell of your blood will bring our lava leopard close," Sarah said, in the middle of his chest. Thin streaks of blood slipped down Sen's torso. "But you'll kill it before it eats me," to his voice. Sarah, "It'll be fire breath. You should have never met with foliage. We can go," Sen thought. "This bloody dimension." Sen stayed tied to the towers, watching the two suns of glory behind the strange horizon. As his skin pricked by jungle. "Hey, Sarah, leopard's engine with terror. I catch him." But no one came. In the flame quickly approaching. It was he. "Please, can we keep him?" Yara pleaded, holding the tiny creature in her hands. Sen had brought his 5-year-old sister, Yara, with him to the market, so he held some of his old books. But on the way, spotted and intruding in his life. And it wasn't. Since their dad had died, Sen's family had been things food on the table. In fact, today was so they could afford to buy dinner. Taking in a kitten just wasn't a good idea, Sen said, feeling awful about it. "But I don't right and hated saying no to his sister, but he had no choice." "But Sen, it's lost its parents." Yara's eyes welled up. It's not fair. Sen knelt, brushing her hair from her face. I know it doesn't seem fair, but it's a tough little thing, isn't it? It'll be all right on its own. But Sen, Yara argued, when Dad died, you told me that everything would be okay. Because we still had each other, and that we would look after one another. That's right. Sen remembered the conversation vividly. You'll always have me, and I'll always take care of you, I promise. But Sen, this kitty doesn't have anyone else, does it? Yara reasoned quite logically. So how will it be fine?
I don't care about, like, real things. Alright, anyways, let's go to my library. We'll play... play my wizard for hire.
Said little things that were done, all those was another 5 minutes before the train finished.
Okay, no! Why'd I do that? I'm so silly. Now I freaking gotta go in here.
Was another 5 minutes before the train finished crossing the highway. The flashing lights turned off, and police held traffic a moment longer as they looked for signs of Rin's car on the other side of the track. There were none. Sheriff Wills got back into his car and raced to Bell's Ferry. Chapter 46. I could take a train. What happened with the police chase was something Ozzy and Clark and Siggy would never forget.
Rin? Well, he acted like taking a dirt jump off the road and twisting upside down in a car before landing on a speeding railroad car was nothing out of the ordinary. The train car did unswat their rattled from emergency brake. You don't think that was unbelievable? Ozzy asked for the 10th time. I guess once you've lived in Quarfeld, you're not easily impressed. And besides,
I don't like
I
this
told
dude.
you previously that many spirits use the railroads for traveling through this dimension. Do they use it like that? They use it however they see fit. I wish I had my phone so I could send out a Snapchat of this, Siggy said. No one's going to believe it. I personally think it's weird, Clark chirped. Rin said we would get away, and we did. That's weird, right? I mean, there is a wall of train in front of us and a pack of cops behind us. Possible, Siggy said. Sad you have should. I think we're heading in the right direction, Ozzy asked. It might actually save us time and gas money. And how do we get off whenever we stop? Ozzy questioned. When we worry about the time itself, and took a big bite egg. You don't mind blowing? Ozzy asked. I do, Siggy said from the back. We have unwittingly found ourselves on a great adventure. But it's important to know that this years ago, all little things that were things, all both granular and shaped that have X daughter hitching a ride on a train. That was actions long ago. Part at the little things we do. You, Clark, me finishing the sandwich. They are all starting points for new journeys that will propel us future. To see how that very Ozzy looked at it of it, finished his last bite of sandwich, and then dusted off his hands. Now, he said, you were wondering when I'd sleep, and it seems you have some time to do so. Long and going fast, see far down the line. Good way. No one, because oh, wait, I do. Rin shut his eyes and was out. Back a little, so much that Snoop got comfortable on Ozzy's stomach. Streaky leaned forward. Really? Ozzy asked. He's not always been around during my life. I'm normal. My parents' mysterious disappearance, me out with a wizard and a ting metal bird, you being in the same car as me, is normal? Who's to say? Clark whispered. Remember that sign we saw next to Volts in Otter Rock, saying, all your neighbors will be jealous? Ozzy shifted onto his side to see Siggy better. I've read books. I just wonder if what I'm going through now is extraordinary or commonplace. It seems to be commonplace for you. Ozzy reached up and slid open could see the stars and felt the trees would have been different because your dad Ozzy. No, as she lived for 5 weeks, seemed like a past as distant as his parents. Still, somehow was within that reality. The train traveled at full speed through most of the night.
I don't know how I'm gonna be able
As
to beat this
daylight
guy.
began to break, Ozzy woke up and put Clark on the cookies. He tried not to stare too much at Siggy as she slept in the back, but she was a firework he'd look away from. Rin yawned like it was the most important and like it. The terrain they were traveling through was hillsides of the track. Aren't wanted this. Here when the train stopped, Ozzy looked relieved. Oh, Fred took the emergency brake off and turned the wheel to the right. Wait, what are you doing?
Let's see.
And pressed against the raised ground at the side of the car, then bounced and dirt, coming to a skidding stop on the hard soil of the small road. The train just kept on going. Rin put the car into park. Still, leave you! Proof of that. Besides, I couldn't just leave Patty's car on the train. More bobbing. How do you think we got off it? Does it matter? The bird asked sincerely. What an intelligent answer, Clark. Rin said. I'm very impressed by how wise you are. The wizard put the car back into drive and began speeding down the dirt road. You realize that's something a maniac would do? Ozzy argued, not willing to drop the conversation yet. A maniac would drive his car on Kirky. 5 miles later, they turned onto an actual paved road, and a few miles past that, they saw the first signs of civilization. There were some old houses and a gas station at the crossroad
Oof.
where the road
Sorry,
they
this
were on met the
headphone
highway they needed to take.
bothers me.
Rin stopped at
At
the
a
gas station.
random-
Before filling the tank, he announced that he needed to go into the store. I need to see a wizard about a griffin. Ozzy sat in the car with Clark and a still sleeping Siggy. I'm not sure we're doing the right thing, Ozzy said. It's the wizard, right? Yeah. We almost died twice in the last 12 hours. If he was here, he'd probably say something like, most everyone dies every second of the day. Right, or if you almost died, that means you probably didn't. Good one. What about robes are cool and I wear a hat? Not great. Clark hopped up onto the headrest of the driver's seat and fluttered his tin tail. I wouldn't worry about Rin. On that tape, your mother told you to talk to this Charles guy, and Wizardy is helping you get there. How many people have a wizard on their side? Rin was back out of the gas station. We'll need some money to pay for gas, he said. I'd pay, but since this is a business trip, I want to keep things on the up and up. Ozzy handed Rin some money, and he went back in. You're lucky your parents had money. I feel luckier if I had my parents instead. Soon you might have both.
Facts.
Rin walked back out and began to fill up the car. I'd better use the bathroom myself. I'll never understand a real upside at that point. Add out to it and angry you observe. Ozzy and box near to the
This one
car
first.
and was done and was a lot of they never to get a repaint, Dad. Vehicle had off-road by scratched and bent the front wheels miraculously. It his door. I got snacks. The boy roared. Excellent. Then the journey can drive another year so off. But the event of old nearly as bad as it's or spent a long time. Yeah. So you said it was bad, Clark said. It had been. What about the few parts where Margaret wasn't out in the face? It pointed out. That's true, Clark tweeted. Oh, house and that. Nice. It fits in Hoarders? No, I've never watched TV. I feel like that's it. Mark's she never bought out of it like it's TV. Are you or felt are so different? Absorb words, books, and an amount of I sit on more efficient. Ozzy asked. Of course, learning. Like Hogwarts? Not a better run, and they've outlawed floating candles. I guess dripping. Practical for wizards. I'd like to see Harry Potter clean wax off of the floor.
Cool. Turn to
But
win.
she told a good tale most of the time. I actually worked for the School of Mischief and Merriment in Corfeld, and believe me, out and served to do Dumbledore. Ozzy admitted. So you've got regular books in that Quar place? Clark questioned. some made it in. What was your job like? Ozzy asked. I taught the wand care class. Wait, Ozzy said. You do actually have a wand? Of course. I've never seen it, Siggy said stoically. I've never brandished it while you were around. Do you have it on you? Ozzy asked. Of course. What kind of wizard travels around without his wand?
Ooh,
Can you show
each
us?
combat lose 4
I
HP.
don't think I want to be brandished, Clark said. I'll show you later, perhaps. I'm driving, and you humans have designed these cars to require the driver's attention. Check my phone. I think I've got another book downloaded we can listen to. Ozzy pressed the screen a few times
I got 2
and found the other
combats the rest of the
title.
game.
Darren's Mistake, he said with a groan. How about after we find out what this Darren chump did wrong, we spend some time listening to me chirp? Clark asked. Fair enough? You know, I prefer the term more than fair, Rin said. Ozzy pressed play, and they drove the rest of the way through Nevada and into Arizona, learning about Darren's mistake and hoping they weren't making a few of their own. Chapter 48. Maybe it's time to believe. The Mule Pole Highway near the tall yellow tree was lined with police cars on both sides of the road. It was morning, and Sheriff Wills was there with most of his on-duty officers, as well as 3 other officers from Bell's Ferry. Rin and his white car had never made it to the road block. The back of the road crossed on the shiver and disappeared. An officer cars don't. They could rails seconds before the ride, which means the main small dirt ones. The officer checking those roads all morning. Problem with it is that even at night, they didn't go through it, and there's no sign. Officer Wallow suggested that there might be.
Ridiculous.
He was joking, of course.
Oh, they're
Greg
ridiculous
said.
too.
Of course. Greg, as any we have. What about the train? It was on a long haul to Sacramento. We've contacted the railroad, and they've spoken with him. He had no idea the car hit the mound, blew over the and did have hit that mound that landed at the portal.
See, the thing is,
so
many of my cards are power cards. So, like, once they're used.
Rin, the two had been friends in grade school. Rin had always been resourceful and kind. Now, it seems his one-time friend might actually be a wizard. Sheriff took out to fill her found. 49, forward through space. They were all sick of driving and not in the best of spirits. Darren's mistake was now their mistake as well. The book just returned about it. And where he was and wanting to talk to his typers and the winds sounds like a condition. Rather safe, and if the stars dictate, we will be back shortly with Siggy in tow. Ozzy sent it off, and she responded. She's furious. Sheriff Wills said it. Tell her he's off. Ozzy sent it. Tell Sheriff Wills. Rin's text back was a tell Sheriff to take a hike. They had done what Siggy was supposed to reply. What does... Here, look. Rin took a quick glance at the phone. Oh, you probably shouldn't read that out loud. Arizona was a beautiful state full of varied landscape and nice roads. They stopped at yet another drive-through, and Ozzy thought back to when he used to like them. This food is making me sick. Just keep eating it. Eventually, you'll get over that. feeling. Ozzy choked it down and then spent a few minutes looking out the window at the passing landscape and wishing he had just eaten a meal from his garden and basement instead. You know what? Rin said. Let's call that Charles guy again. It's kinda late in the day, Ozzy pointed out. It's her now. Let's just try, Siggy said. I'll dial if Rin talks.
Sure.
A true wizard knows when to be silent and when to speak.
Okay.
This feels like a
Goal is to
time for
not
the
to take
ladder.
more than 5 damage.
Ozzy found the number in Rin's outgoing calls list and pressed it. He handed the device to the wizard.
Out the bat, we're doing okay.
It's ringing, Rin said. There were a few moments of silence. It's still ringing. If it goes to voicemail, just hang up this time, Ozzy instructed Rin. It's going to voicemail. Hang up. It's telling me to leave a message again. Hang up! Rin couldn't have it. Set into my message is when one door shuts, it is usually for a reason. If it's not been locked, then it should. Rin opened it. He said, Miss, that wasn't your strongest message, actually. Clark, should I call? No, everyone said in sync. Okay, now, we'll be driving for the next 3 hours. Rin ignored his daughter's less than enthusiastic. Anything magic speaks and 2 bars he signed. Try it, Rin encouraged. It's very revealing. In no time, it will become apparent that the whole world is out the front weeks, season and poles. Brilliant! Long red lights, almost undone. This game is probably easier in the daytime. It's easier, maybe, the wizard insisted. It's a real marvel discovering so nearby are much more than you once perceived. Your turn, say, come on, explain. Fortunate you are to each other. People having explained it to us, give it a try. Boy, telephone of the teeth. He's breathing back, and for base. Well done. Fair said, that's cheating. It's supposed to be what a wizard sees and not I'm thing. Points for both of you. Art. Each the larger and less more because already have driven silently. Moving but shut himself off at any point. Rin, not driving, are you? Of course not. That's not something that would ever happen to a wizard. Now, there's something about the wind on your face that makes you tired. That's why you see very few wizards. I wonder, Ozzy smiled. Person. Gallup, New Mexico, right? They didn't such and Rin on headset. A nice mini room and shut down there.
Okay.
Siggy got her own room right next door. Just as got up, they re-up itself classrooms and gas for Wiking Dead mahogany green. Get breakfast Albuquerque.
You can poop.
I like my bee. And hours now. We can't just go in there all willy-nilly and marry. Okay. For his office, now the phone takes right in. Good. Second, we need to think about don't tell say.
Give me a minute to get that one.
Then tell him I'm his
I'll be fine though.
And tell him you're a rich inventor kid. And me, is it the world he did? Turned out. No, why am I showing it to him? When they have neat look, you think of course. Way he asked Arkham but it said so he's a science guy like your dad. You're excited. This could be I know that we can get him to talk without saying who we are. Okay, here we do. We go to a well-eccentric family. A father and his daughter and son. We let him know that we have more money than sense and that we're on a treasure hunt of sorts. We show him the orange cassette tape we have and say that we found it at an estate sale in Burlington, Vermont. Then,
what can I?
So we're not giving us why take a trip and see if interesting about work. Off would be in a statue or estate. I'd my fort industry. Ozzy shrugged. Why not? The 4 of them worked out their history and who they would be. By the time they got to Albuquerque, they had assumed their new roles and were ready to perform the charade. The city was spread out like a massive board game stitched together out of boards and pieces from every game in the closet. There were trees here and there, and roads and freeways heading in every direction. In the distance, the Sandia mountain range towered over the east horizon. That mountain was up at the woman. She
Upgrade
had
one of our
trouble sleeping.
defense.
Did you tell her some of your Wizard World stories?
Okay.
Clark asked. I know those make me sleepy. Rin smiled. Bird humor is so subtle. It wasn't a castle, and the woman was just the freeway, all shaders windows. In the park, turned it off. He looked at Z and his daughter.
Okay, go.
Ready, Salvin and Honey? Really? Siggy said. Am I Honey? Yes. It means Alpha. Come on, he said reluctantly. And they climbed
We need
out of the
all the block we can going into the Queen.
Chapter
Oh, I'm
51.
nervous.
I see that there is evil. Lynette Tillman had worked
I
for
am
Charles
so
Plankdorf
nervous.
and
Okay,
Harkin
let's see.
Corporation for more than 10 years. In all that time, I've never seen a people quite like
Let's
the
kill
three
this
who had
guy.
just walked in. The older man was wearing a short, open robe over a black T-shirt and jeans. He had on a pointy hat and a long that sprinkled. On his shoulder was a fake bird. The boy was tall and strikingly handsome. He had long, much older, and the girl dark skin and sincere. Who day at any known
We'll do that one.
How this fine I am Lynette. May I ask me to say he is first? I see. Asked Mr. Plank. He actually can answer. Could the she was. I would tell you.
Hey.
It's trying. We are very bit the eccentric being to be. If at an estate. Rin paused for some unknown reason. Have you ever been? He asked. No, I'm afraid. Stand down. A lovely town. Sure. It was afternoon, and these strangers were. She could go on you. I will. We found this tape, and listening to Charf, not 8 ounce hit. Found a tape found in a box at a garage sale.
Okay. Good to go.
Estate sale, but yes, is gist of it. Not to toot my own horn, but I am making all much to attend them on a but in secret. The team will find out. Will with 3 hands and cover desk. Please take a seat, and I'll see you. Q. And said, and the wizard and Ellie sandwiches and too nervous. Asked, standing perfectly still on North Hills of Corfell. Wizards are very adept. We need to speak as official. Whatever is that, Siggy. We'll see announced. It should be excellent. And standing up. May I
Be
take
taking some
your
damage.
robe and hat? Not on her. The countless garment. I can keep behind her desk. Holding it. He will sniff it and ask you to leave immediately. He takes care of dead. Lynette opened in. There was a glass desk, new bookcase, sitting behind a scar. Don't believe I got your name, she said to Rin.
I am going to freaking lose.
He replied. This night. Serious something. But he did. You have its name to say. Lynette left the office and closed the door. The desk sat in the chairs that were facing it. Dorf looked at sign. He had a chair, cheeks. His own and nostrils flared as he pinched.
God.
You have a tape? We do, Ozzy said. But before we tell you what's on it,
I'm gonna lose.
can I ask you a question? Fine. Do you know a Dr. Emmett H. eyes and pale down her hips and with interest Dorf sat in the air and to every Ozzy made on that new tree. He beeped a couple of times, but the tree gave and sounded on it to he knew there was reason. It's all the had enough in its head. They didn't show him the tape or attempt to play it, but they recited word what he had to the fate of this woman on the tape. Regarding her online, we found her
Wait,
is almost think cross interest to find out on the end of its
20. This is pretty.
one. Rin said some
don't-
more. And Shitter said the other about the court. And she was swearing, selling them. Now, do you
About to
know more
die.
about this woman, or did we come all this way just to find out? Charles couldn't see. Yes, there doesn't seem to be much about your mind. I deal in information because we were all up. No, and he was tired, unaware that what he was about to say interrupted his day. Surprised the words carried. I suppose it does no harm to inform you that his brother, his mother, was my mother. And he blinked and rubbed his chin. I'm Charles. Me or alive or dead. For her, them. Were they like? Ozzy asked.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
Brilliant.
So bad,
Actually,
bro. So
too
bad.
smart for their own good. Emmett could do anything. Blum was to stay with them and the new information Charles was giving them, thanks to the tapes he had understand was I knew I had Robert Sullivan, sick. Ozzy lied. Did to move elsewhere? Word from them. Rin said lightly. She told us so many stories to tell.
Okay.
Did these people have other family?
Come on, Julia.
Ozzy wanted more information. Before the other had never siblings. You'd think after so many he held once a month. We had a bit and pretended that he was okay with this half truth. And a short man wearing a uniform sword.
All right, let's do
Eric.
it.
Charles
We're
said
close.
briskly.
We're close.
I'm with visitors. Up to Charles as Chili directed in nod. Boy impulsively. Charles said, "You and you." Charles snapped, "Leave us!" Eric shook off his feeling and knuckles to the door was closed. How about we sit around? We don't have it with us. We left it at the hotel. Oh, Charles said, sounding suspicious. What hotel? The Marriott, Rin said, catching on to the fact that Ozzy now felt a need to keep the secret a bit longer. What's the town not having a more upscale place for us to stay? Charles, old half-brother's wife, talking about me.
Oh my gosh.
No problem, Rin said. We were going to go back and get it once we realized we'd left it at the hotel, but we figured we'd make sure you were truly connected to the Toffees first. I see. We'll run get it now, Ozzy said. Will you be here the rest of the day? How about I follow you to your hotel? You can grab the tape and then we'll have a late lunch or an early dinner together. That's very generous, Rin said. But I'm eccentric and I don't like people tape and let keep accent. You wanted anyone listening to you? I can't imagine, Rin said, slapping his wizard on. He nodded. First of all, appreciate your notice. Second of all, no, I'm accomplished. You've buried my personal. That way, plans on either another. Ozzy sang them. Rin said, and friend, your word, save it for later. Rin stood and followed Ozzy and Siggy out of the office. Chapter 52. Been three streaming couldn't operate music. Of course. Lynn works to your company. I have things I need you to do. Charles came out to get it. Chapter 53. Ozzy, Rin, Siggy, and Clark are all of them in Athens. I was going to, but then some... Was it the crack about not liking birds? Clark asked. No. He said that he knew my mom for years, and he also said he'd only met her the year before she disappeared. He said it was a figure of speech, Siggy reminded him. No, it was a look of fear. I did notice that, Siggy said. And how going started the car. I don't know. Mid the one's own. I wizard and core felt. Rin merged onto the freeway. I hate, Clark said. So sorry, Rin apologized. Now, I wonder who serves a decent breakfast. Found a view, she reported. That's a statement no wizard can take from the University of New Mexico, a large school consisting of adobe building. Rin parked on two. Yes, and you're ordering me something with texture. Maybe some hash browns. Ozzy put Clark in his hoodie pocket along with the orange cassette tape. So Rin they did burritos and pancakes. Then they found a table. Hearing it? Maybe he just doesn't trust us now, but when he finally hears it, he'll really open up. Clark shifted and stuck his beak out of the hoodie pocket so as to feel less confined. I just don't see where we go from here if this doesn't give us any answers, Ozzy said. I'll have to go home and hide out in the cloaked house for the rest of my life. Then again,
Okay, done.
so if
Claire.
heaven knows they could use a wizard. Ozzy heard Clark and his parents insist. other things that I know, I'm their child that was left behind. I just couldn't whiz out from the front counter. That's us. Their food to the table. Conversation for quiet introspection, but the food would keep any quiet. There must be a sorcerer in that kitchen, Rin said. I can taste the alchemy. What's that green stuff in the egg? Chili? After stuff and everything takes into their meal, and they slowly bark on Ozzy's head. The tastiest thing I've ever eaten. What do you expect their food? Like they have this
I just have
berry
attack,
called
so
velour.
I guess I'll
It
just
can
attack.
be both sweet and savory. Prepared
I
by
don't
the
really
right
have anything
hands,
I can do
it's
there.
incredible. So, do you believe in Corfeld? Clark asked. No, with that. It is different, Rin said. Clark from the top of Oz. Did any of you guys? Because Ozzy ran to where the white car was parked. Both doors were wide open, and all of their belongings were spread out on the road. What happened? Siggy asked, looking around. The inside of the vehicle had been thoroughly picked through. The glove compartment was empty, the floor mats had been flipped over, and the back hatch had been popped open. I don't see anything missing, Clark said as he hopped to the ground and took inventory of all their stuff lying
Oh, it's the
there.
attacks. It's the
Specific. Ozzy reached into his pocket. It was still there. I have it, he said quietly without taking it out. Why would someone somewhere you've never been want to know? The bird questioned. Oh? You're us something that was on the wizard spoke. What happened? Now gather the mess and get away from here. If they follow us, where they are, we need to lose them. Fine, Ozzy. But if somebody
80?
is following us, don't lose them by doing a barrel roll. Any gates. Clark jumped to the back window to keep an eye on the rear, while Ozzy and Siggy scanned the area for
Wish
any
I
sign
upgraded
of
it.
someone
That would have been
nefarious.
42 right there.
I don't even know what I'm looking for, Ozzy confessed. I do. Following you. I don't get it today, but I think Ozzy sounds off. Creeping close, Clark reported. The black SUV
Okay.
flashed
We
its
got
headlights
this.
and sped up. This isn't going to
Go.
end well, Ozzy yelled. They won't hurt us. Ozzy said. That's good, right? Hold on again! Rin turned the car once more, and the tires on the right
Here's an
side almost
infection.
lifted off the ground.
Oh, I didn't
Ozzy straightened up the steering wheel and zoomed down a wide 4-lane street.
Perfect.
What have I told you about seat belts? The wizard chastened.
Oh, man.
The SUV tried to pass them on the right, but Rin
Dang
moved in
it.
front
I
of
forgot
them.
about these little
They
guys.
backed off and tried passing on the left. They sped up and brought their vehicle with authority
I'm
for
about to
them
take
to
a
pull
lot
over.
of damage.
He
and kill
turned
this
so
guy.
sharply that the little car went up on 2 wheels.
Oh,
The
there's nothing I
SUV
can...
didn't make the turn, and it raced on to the next possible. The car came down on all street. They drove down the car up our turn. Clark said, "Thanks. Wait here for a while and then make our move when it feels safe." What's
Okay.
our move? Whispered. Oh, it was lost big drones and there were people who didn't. Beautiful park, Rin said. I don't think it's a park, Dad. Rin begged to differ.
Okay.
It has grass, trees, graves, like a park. Rin said. This day is just getting better and better. That wonderful breakfast burrito, we had no clue what to do this for. The men were kind enough to go through our car and check. They handed us hope, Rin said. Now there's that month that we didn't pick up. Siggy said, I bet that's it. And talking with Rin. That formula on the tape is why my parents. It's the answer, and it's why we found in the cloaked house. For the has all of my dad's tapes are about the brain and how all the down. Siggy whispered. They know what this car looks like better than they know your car in the cemetery. This might not be a good idea, Ozzy said. In this long line to go. Clark yelled. The SUV is right behind us! I guess there's only one option. Rin pressed on the gas and sped
Okay.
forward at an alarming
We're
rate.
about to die.
It was going to be going so fast in a cemetery down a one-way lane filled with oncoming cars toward a stone
Okay.
wall with an opening that wasn't much wider than a single vehicle. "Don't do this!" Ozzy yelled. Rin at V followed suit. They were considerably bigger than the white on the eye. That's so disrespectful. He looked in the rearview mirror. The procession of cars shaking their fists and yelling at them as they witnessed a long pickup
We got
truck
this.
just beginning to enter the small cell. The wind down, and the small car jammed through the opening, barely missing the side of the truck and scraping the stone wall. They burst and looked.
My journey
SUV
does not end
tried to do
here.
the same thing. It shot forward the masculine as in between the truck and the stone wall. "Clark, they're getting out of that," Ozzy said. Ozzy, the phone is surprised. "You know a lot of people. Wizards are in high demand." Kendall's listed. "You want to come or something? Maps would pay him a visit." Ozzy
Nice.
pressed start navigation and helmed you some and what? For you father? Not so sure. You met him. The cocky weapon. 12 minutes. 55. Trolls. Replied. "I believe that," Clark said. "We've not in all the last you've been 2 years," said. "Humans believe in magic." "Is that why I've never heard about it? I thought Mom said your dad was dead." We know you get things to say for himself. If we need to, we can use my dad's computer. Well, what if we allow Mag to stay here? Fine. The four of them got out of the car, and Ozzy asked Rin as they walked to the door. "That's a question that you're asking me to describe the sun on the first day I see it." Definitely pulled into it. "No. Who am I for your dad? Are you to give me short and when the lead to river short where and his father looked like a million close, and then he did Rin replied, "I'm going here. It's just us." Richard passed by. "That's it. Can we pull our car into? I don't want anyone stealing it." Ren looked up. "Fine." While he was inside opening the garage, vehicles turned off. All windows had over them. This would destroy you. There were no love seats in the room to count bars. Ozzy and Siggy grabbed the bar stools and sat on them. Rin said, "Yourself again. Labyrinth is my name, but most of the people I'm close to. Your mother and I gave you a proper name, and you traded it in for that. I didn't trade it in. Things change. Sorry, I didn't find out about it. Your father." "Okay, I guess." "Are you a witch?"
Oh my god.
"Not that I know of." "And the boy, is he related?" "Each days, visit kid times. No, to hear that. Random. You might hear. You made that shit. You sit all day in a dark house," Rin pointed out. "I don't think I only knife. I never claimed to be a wizard." Clark slipped out of Ozzy's pocket to get a better look at the my forums. We're not doing well. She's still a fact checker at the same place. I have one child with a normal job. Randall jabbed. "Tell her it wouldn't hurt her to come visit me every once in a while." "I'll pass that along." "It'll come up. Good. I mean, as reason." Rin agreed. "Well, this is great reconnecting, but Randall made passive-aggressive. I made to speak. I must have talked to him for an hour before he finally just around. Enjoy listening in on any phone calls you're making." "What? Are they out wands? This is serious." Rin looked. "I guess it's all right," Ozzy said. "Just call Charles and you talk." And hard number Lynette hit him. "Charles, yes, this is serious night. I must say that our afternoon didn't go as we planned. Do you mind telling me why there were men why were talking about thinking of you? Let's just Charles opening at your call. You did talk. I didn't do it. You please, Charles. I'm sure it's nothing, but I don't like having on things I can't control. Well, we were the tape, but your men jumped the gun. Listen, I made it tell me someone. Rin asked, embarrassed. That was Taffy. Who told you? I know not who you say you are. And as a man who deals in secret government, I give you someone else. I need to say, but Emmett in your eye. You'll never know what it is. I'll keep that in mind. Rin said, on the first time, I was impressed. No, was well, you would have to follow, Red. Rin, and then down at Clark, who was not. Have I introduced you to Clark? Ah, that feels better. Red amazing. Clark chart and then fans here's I have been sure. He said, no time limit. Rin, Ozzy, and Siggy told Randall everything is hard for never mind here. But I would be here to and if I fit Siggy, we've done ignorance. I'm still in rest. I went out and was wondering what there was rare size. Chap, good. Doing some 7-5 words. I really lost the people. Dark was exactly. Dared to see got it in. Doesn't big window on the girl and what the front of the end said. The thing was, he pulled a stack of paper about sheet with his head. There was a yellow in front of the impossible. Like looking that's my front. You read it. And signal to start here. Any of this then borrow back your phones. Okay, great plan for safety piece kind of people this world needed. They would talk. And he slowly set it down. Because it's not too late. You can turn hope of whatever you wish. Keep slide kind of thing at the moment. Are what you finished Mia were brilliant and perfect was able to think their way into prosperity and happiness. They had DSRD driven for months nowhere. They stalled Tesla and the full outfit. Like Vegas, no option. Emmett moved out night shop. They're both hid there. Nobody could find them. This last page had information. They had been to find with Brian Finger and they were at 10 years, but it was about like Rocky and all to echo city. It's okay. But I've always known that was impossible. Back, Charles came. How could someone do something like that? Could make a person very wealthy and very powerful. Who cares? Passionate. Papers enough proof? Charles kid parents. Ranged in. If Eric would off I was with his but I don't think you should. Charles wants a tape. And I have a phone. You think it's put into making at least higher you don't like things need comfortable. Need that bring my friends on. That tape gives us leverage, and we should use it. Charles student and then set up a meeting on talk on the functions. For now, let's held their breath for a moment, trying the sound of rock. Why? Maybe he's covered the whole grid. I don't know how to say men, right? Go before they catch you. Get back, Dad. Go. Oh, and son, Randall added, misjudged your path in life. I, looking at an old wizard, other times, a wizard is most. Rin turned on the car smashed through the closed garage door. The little car isn't? Ozzy asked. I don't tell your mom. The patron drove Napon. Stark was in the back window, keeping a lookout with Siggy by their car. And there's way more other vehicle, but the force pulled away. Ozzy yelled. Then concerned in the city. We're going to be confused either way, Ozzy shouted. Do you think that formula my parents invented really worked? It must have, Rin hollered. It was enough to cause your parents to give up everything and hide in Oregon. It was also enough to cause your uncle to do the things he's done and is doing. V's close to look at a ball of black was rolling towards them. The freeway began to many either. And we can't lose all of them, Ozzy pointed out. Who can see the future? Rin asked. Stop witnessing including breakers in a car. The window Ozzy down with his head. Rolled down window just a bit. What? And rolled to the V glasses askew and broke a tooth of the large goon with the Ozzy and Siggy couldn't see everything, but they saw that the SUV controlled mechanical assailant this was affecting the floor under SUV to form SUV after other. And the mess that Clark had brought down, that vehicle of its fellow thugs. Instead, it picked up his... Wow! Ozzy said. Clark knocked out almost one... would have stopped. Come back for me. It's you. What is one car left? No, sir. We can't... I'm not... confidently in the road to the Sandia Mountains and into heavier rain. The SUV followed. They were on a small highway driving towards the crest of the Sandia Mountains.
Oh.
Their vehicle passed a few stores, an old burnt building, and a couple of other cars, but otherwise